Sonnet 23. As an imperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength's abundance weakens his own heart, so I for fear of trust forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, overcharged with burden of mine own love's might. Oh, let my books be then the eloquence and dumb passengers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense, more than a tongue, and more hath more expressed. Oh, learn to read what silent love hath read, to hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit.
Sonnet 24. Mine eye hath played the painter, and hath styled thy beauty's form in table of my heart. My body is the frame wherein 'tis held, and perspective it is best painter's art. For through the painter must you see his skill, to find where your true image pictured lies, which in my bosom's shop is hanging still, that hath his windows glazed with thine eyes. Now see what good turns eyes where eyes have done. Mine eyes have drawn thy shape, and thine for me are windows to my breast, where through the sun delights to peep, to gaze therein on thee. Yet eyes, this cunning, want to grace their art. They draw but what they see, know not the heart.
Sonnet 25. Let those who are in favor with their stars of public honor and proud titles boast, whilst I, whom fortune of such triumph bars, unlooked for joy in that I honor most. Great princes' favourites their fair leaves spread, but as the marigold at the sun's eye, and in themselves their pride lies buried. For at frown there in their glory die, the painful warrior famous for worth, after 1,000 victories once foiled, is from the book of honour razed quiet, and all the rest forgot for which he toiled. Then happy I, that loved and am beloved, where I might not remove nor be removed.
Sonnet 26. Lord of my love, to whom in vassalage thy merit hath my duties strongly knit, to thee I send this written embassage, to witness duty, not to show my wit. Duty so great, which wit so poor as mine may make seem bare, in wanting words to show it, but that I hope some good conceit of thine in thy soul's thought all naked will bestow it. Till whatsoever star that guides my moving points on me graciously with fair aspect, and puts apparel on my tattered loving, to show me worthy of thy sweet respect. Then may I dare to boast how I do love thee, till then not show my head where thou mayst prove me.
Sonnet 27. Weary with toil I haste me to my bed, the dear repose for limbs with travel tired. But then begins a journey in my head, to work my mind when body's works experienced. For then my thoughts, from far where I abide, intend a zealous pilgrimage to thee, and keep me drooping eyelids open wide, looking on darkness which the blind do see, save that my soul's imaginary sight presents thy shadow to my sightless view, which like a jewel hung in ghastly night makes black night virtuous and her old face new. Lo, thus, by day my limbs, by night my mind, for thee and for myself not quite fine.
Sonnet 28. How can I then return in happy plight, that am debarred the benefit of rest, when day's oppression is not eased by night, but day by night and night by day oppressed, and each, though enemies to either's reign, do in consent shake hands to torture me, the one by toil, the other to complain how far I toil, still farther off from thee? I tell the day to please him thou art bright, and dost him grace when clouds do blot the heaven. So flatter I the swart complexioned night, when sparkling stars twire not, thou gild'st the even. But day doth daily draw my sorrows longer, and night doth nightly make grief's length seem stronger.
Sonnet 29. When, in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I, all alone, beweep my outcast estate, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more reaching hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy contented least. Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising, from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
Sonnet 30. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past, I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new wail my dear time's waste. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in death's stateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and mourn the expense of many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve at grievances forgone, and heavily from woe to woe tell o'er the sad account of fore bemoaned moan, which I knew pay as if it not paid before. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end.
Sonnet 31. Thy bosom is endeared with all hearts, which I by lacking have supposed death, and there reigns love, and all love's loving parts, and all those friends which I thought buried. How many a holy and obsequious tear hath dear religious love stolen from mine eye, as interest of the death, which now appear but things removed that hidden in thee lie. Thou art the grave where buried love doth live, hung with the trophies of my lovers gone, who all their parts of me to thee did give. That due of many now is thine alone. Their images I loved, I view in thee, and thou, all they, hast all the all of mine.
Sonnet 32. If thou survive my well-contented day, when that chill death my bones with dust shall cover, and shalt by fortune once more resurvey these poor rude lines of thy deceased lover, compare them with the bettering of the time, and though they be outstripped by every pen, reserve them for my love, not for the rhyme, exceeded by the hate of happier men. Oh, then vouchsafe me but this loving thought: had my friend's muse grown with his growing age, a dearer birth than this his love had brought, to march in ranks of better equipage. But since he died and poets better prove, theirs for their style I'll read, his for his love.
Sonnet 33. Full many a glorious morning have I seen flutter the mountain tops with sovereign eye, kissing with golden face the meadows green, gilding pale streams with heavenly alchemy. Anon, permit the basest clouds to ride, with ugly wrack on his celestial face, and from the forlorn world his visage hide, stealing unseen to west with this disgrace. Even so my sun, one early morn did shine, with all triumphant splendour on my brow. But, out alack, he was but 1 hour mine. The Region cloud hath masked him from me now. Yet him for this my love knoweth disdaineth. Sounds of the world may stain when heaven sounds staineth.
Sonnet 34. Why didst thou promise such a beauteous day, and make me travel forth without my cloak, to let base clouds o'ertake me in my way, hiding thy bravery in the rotten smoke? 'Tis not enough that through the cloud thou break, to dry the rain on my storm-beaten face, for no man well of such a salve can speak, that heals the wound and cures not the disgrace. Nor can thy shame give physic to my grief. Though thou repent, yet I have still the loss. The offender's sorrow lends but weak relief to him that bears the strong offence's cross. Ah, but those tears are pearl which thy love sheds, and they are rich and ransom all ill deeds.
Sonnet 35. No more be grieved at that which thou hast done. Roses have thorns, and silver fountains mud. Clouds and eclipses stain both moon and sun, and loathsome canker lives in sweetest bud. All men make faults, and even I in this, authorizing thy trespass with compare, myself corrupt in solving thy amiss, excusing thy sins more than thy sins are. For to thy sensual fault I bring incense. Thine adverse party is thine advocate, and against myself a lawful plea commends. Such civil war is in my love and hate, that I an accessory needs must be to that sweet thief which sourly robs from me.
Sonnet 36. Let me confess that we two must be twain, although our undivided loves are one. So shall those bloods that do with me remain, without thy help, by me be borne alone. In our two loves there is but one respect, though in our lives a separable spite, which though it alter not love's sole effect, yet doth it steal sweet hours from love's delight. I may not evermore acknowledge thee, lest my bewailed guilt should do thee shame, nor thou with public kindness honour me, unless thou take that honour from thy name. But do not so. I love thee in such sort, as thou being mine, mine is thy good report.
Sonnet 37. As a decrepit father takes delight to see his active child do deeds of youth, so I, made lame by fortune's tears despite, take all my comfort of thy worth and truth. For whether beauty, birth, or wealth or wit, or any of these or all or more, entitled in thy parts do crowded sit, I make my love engrafted to this store. So then I am not lame, poor, nor despised, whilst that this shadow doth such substance give, that I in thy abundance am sufficed, and by a part of all thy glory live. Look what is best, that best I wish in thee, this wish I have, then 10 times happy me.
Sonnet 38. How can my muse one subject to invent, while thou dost breathe that pours into my verse thine own sweet argument, too excellent for every vulgar paper to rehearse? Oh, give thyself the thanks if aught in me worthy perusal stand against thy sight. For who so dumb that cannot write to thee, when thou thyself dost give invention light? Be thou the 10th muse, 10 times more in worth than those old 9 which rhymers invocate. And he that calls on thee, let him bring forth eternal numbers to outlive long date. If my slight muse do please these curious days, the pain be mine, but thine shall be the praise.
Sonnet 39. Oh, how thy worth with manners may I sing, when thou art all the better part of me. What can mine own praise to mine own self bring? And what is but mine own, when I praise thee? Even for this let us divided live, and our dear love lose name of single one, that by this separation I may give that due to thee which thou deservest alone. O absence, what a torment wouldst thou prove, were it not thy thou leisure gave sweet leave to entertain the time with thoughts of love, which time and thoughts so sweetly doth deceive, and that thou teachest how to make one twain, by praising him here who doth hence remain.
Sonnet 40. Take all my loves, my love, yea, take them all. What hast thou then more than thou hast before? No love, my love, that thou mayst true love call. All mine was thine before thou hadst this more. Then, if for my love thou my love receivest, I cannot blame thee for my love thou usest, but yet be blamed if thou thyself deceivest, by wilful taste of what thyself refusest. I do forgive thy robbery, gentle thief, although thou steal thee all my poverty, and yet love knows it is a greater grief to bear love's wrong than hate's known injury. Lascivious grace, in whom all ill will shows, kill me with spites, yet we must not be foes.
Sonnet 41. Those pretty wrongs that liberty commits, when I am sometime absent from thy heart, thy beauty and thy years full well befits. For still temptation follows where thou art. Gentle thou art, and therefore to be won. Beauteous thou art, therefore to be assailed. And when a woman woos, what woman's son will sourly leave her till he have prevailed? Ay me, but yet thou mightest my seed forbear, and chide thy beauty and thy straying youth, who lead thee in their riot even there, where thou art forced to break a twofold truth, hers, but thy beauty tempting her to thee, thine, by thy beauty being false to me.
Sonnet 42. That thou hast her, it is not all my grief, and yet it may be said I loved her dearly. That she had thee is of my wailing chief, a loss in love that touches me more nearly. Loving offenders, thus I will excuse ye. Thou dost love her because thou knowest I love her, and for my sake even so doth she abuse me, suffering my friend for my sake to approve her. If I lose thee, my loss is my love's gain, and losing her, my friend hath found that loss. Both bind each other, and I lose both twain, and both for my sake lay on me this cross. But here's the joy, my friend and I are one. Sweet flattery, then she loves but me alone.
Sonnet 43. When most they wink, then do mine eyes best see, for all the day they view things unrespected. But when I sleep, in dreams they look on thee, and darkly bright are bright in dark directed. Then thou whose shadow shadows doth make bright, how would thy shadow's form happy show to the clear day with thy much clearer light, when to unseeing eyes thy shade shines so? How would, I say, mine eyes be blessed, made by looking on thee in the living day, when in dead night thy fair imperfect shade through heavy sleep on sightless eyes doth stay. All days are nights to see till I see thee, and nights bright days when dreams to show thee me.
Sonnet 44. If the dull substance of my flesh were thought, injurious distance should not stop my way, for then, despite of space, I would be brought from limits far remote, where thou dost stay. No matter then although my foot did stand upon the farthest earth removed from thee, for nimble thought can jump both sea and land, as soon as think the place where he would be. But ah, Thought kills me that I am not thought, to leap large lengths of miles when thou art gone, but that, so much of earth and water wrought, I must attend time's leisure with my moan, receiving not by elements so slow, but heavy tears, batches of either's woe.